Hi everyone, I'm Kaya, yoga instructor here. Today's video, we're talking about yoga blocks. So just like I said in the yoga strap video, there's a lot of I don't know, myths, taboos, beliefs around using yoga props. Um, Especially for people that are new to yoga, I think they have this idea that if you're using props, it means you can't do the pose, or that you're kind of cheating by using the prop. But when we're doing yoga, the whole idea is that we are meeting ourselves where we're at and we're staying in alignment with our bodies. So both, I guess, figuratively and literally, we want to keep our joints and our bones all in alignment so that we're safe when we do our postures. And so things like straps and blocks allow us to stay in alignment and actually deepen our posture and do it in like the safest way. And also sticking with that idea around yoga that every day we get on our mat and we meet ourselves where we're at then. So one day you might need a block and the next you might not. But the block straps, everything like that is such a great way to stay safe, deepen your practice, stay in alignment, all those things, all those good things. So um kind of like what I would say the biggest things about blocks, what they are, is they bring the ground to you. So whatever pose you're doing, let's say you're doing a forward fold and you're not touching the ground, putting a block under your hands just brings the ground up to meet you where you're at so that you can deepen, relax, get the benefit out of that pose without straining things that aren't helping you or risking injury or maybe not even being able to do the pose. Because I see so many people in my classes who refuse to use props for probably the reasons I listed before, who are not putting their bodies into a beneficial shape. They're putting themselves into strain that's going to lead possibly to injury or muscle tightness that isn't coming from, a good solid pose. So I've got two types of blocks. I've got a foam block, so it's like a really thick foam, and a cork one. In general, I prefer the cork ones because they're a lot sturdier. Sometimes with the foam ones, because they aren't quite as sturdy, they might kind of fall if you have a lot of pressure on them, whereas the cork ones are almost like having the actual ground there. As you can see, they're a little bit different in size. The one time I do really like the foam ones, and I'll go through some poses in a little bit, is when I have it under my back or something, and then they don't dig into you like maybe a cork one would. So just preference. And then as you can see, um, we have 3 levels that we can use the blocks at. So first level is having it like this. So the lowest setting, and then we'd move to this, and then this. So there's 3 levels you can use the blocks at, 3 different heights, depending on the pose, depending on what you want to get out of the pose, where you need the block to be, that kind of thing. Okay, so first one I want to talk about is a forward fold. So you can use 1 block or 2, depending if you want to have one under both hands or you just want to have both hands on 1 block. So I'll show it with 2. So when we do a forward fold, we're generally trying to keep the spine long and in a neutral position. So for a lot of us, including me, that have tight legs and can't, unless I'm warmed up, reach the floor, in order for me to reach the floor, I have to start curving through my spine, coming into that kind of kyphosis um, movement, which we're mostly trying to avoid when we're doing yoga or any really exercise. We're trying to keep that strong spinal stability, core stability, and that means staying in a neutral spine. So having the natural low back curve, keeping the shoulders back and down as we come forward. So for me, this is where I'm at. So I could take blocks in front and I can really ground. So instead of doing this or having my hands out in front, I can place my hands on blocks, ground through the palms, press away from the earth, and even lean forward a bit into my hands and be fully grounded in the pose without having to strain my body to try and touch the ground when that's not where it's at right now. So that's a great way to use in a forward fold. And then you can also use it to progress. So maybe I get a little bit warmer and then I can go down to the next level, and then maybe the next level, and then eventually maybe hands onto the ground. So it's a way that you can use those levels to progress throughout a pose. And then one day you won't need it because you've started. It's just like building fitness, right? Stretching is kind of like building muscle. We don't start and go run a marathon or lift 300 pounds the first time we go do it. So same with stretching, we start with little increments until one day, you have both hands on the floor, if that's possible for you, and maybe it never will be, but it doesn't need to be. We have blocks. Okay, next one is triangle. So this is probably the most common pose that I see people do that I just want to go run and put a block under everyone's hand, because I can tell that people are uncomfortable, that they're not enjoying it, and that they're putting themselves at risk of hurting something. So triangle pose, um, I won't go through all these poses in detail. If you want to do some more yoga, I've got tons of other Facebook Lives and YouTubes that you can do yoga with me. But just in terms of using the block, when we come into triangle, we reach, we come down, and then we open up. So if you have a super strong core, or you're trying to work on your core, and you can keep your core really strong and balanced, then you can have your hands up above the floor. But for a lot of us, we haven't built that core strength yet, and we can't reach the ground to ground down. So we put a block underneath the palm. Now I can press down into the ground, grow up through the top fingertips, and I'm keeping my spine in that neutral position again and not collapsing down. So often I see people collapsing or just struggling to stay up, and you're putting yourself at risk of pulling muscles, doing not good things to your spine when you do that. So please use a block, especially in triangle pose. Okay, I'm gonna go into bridge. This is one of my favorite ways to use a block. I'm gonna use the cork one. So a couple things you can do in bridge. One, if you have like SI joint or low back stuff going on, a really great release can be putting a block under yourself in bridge. So only if it's comfortable, but we want to look for that flat part of the back, which is the sacrum. You'll feel that on your back you have a flat section. That's where we want the block. We want to feel super supported. If you feel like you're going to fall off the block, it's not in the right spot. And then you can just breathe here. So this is just like a passive bridge pose. It can even feel nice, and we don't normally do this, but it's called constructive rest. If you bring the heels out, knees together, you can completely release, and it can be a really, really great release for the low back if you have low back stuff going on. So that's one way. Another way, in more active poses, often people tend to, when we come into bridge pose, the knees come apart. And that's no good for the knees. We want to keep those knees stacked above the ankles. So a great way is you can put the block either between the knees or the thighs, squeeze the block, and use that when you come into bridge. You can even do this for bow pose. So that's when you're on your stomach and you've got your legs and arms up. And I'm squeezing in the entire time. So I'm kind of forcing myself to use the muscles that I should be using the entire time. Okay. Another great way to use them is just in different sitting postures. So for me, I run and I cycle a lot, so I've got really tight hips. So I can't sit in a cross-legged position for more than a minute before I get back pain, hip pain, things like that. And if I'm having that at 22, I'm guessing a lot of you have that as well. So I usually sit on a bolster, but if you don't have one and you have a block, you can sit up on a block. And what that does is it just allows more space in the hips. It tilts the pelvis for you, because when we're sitting, we're trying to tilt that pelvis forward to get proper alignment of the joints. But that's really hard when you have tight hips and hamstrings and quads. So it just helps you out. So if you're meditating or something, I always have to sit up on something, or I can't sit for, 15 or 20 minutes in meditation without getting really uncomfortable. So there's that. Another time I always use a block or a bolster under the sitting bones is when I'm doing like a forward fold or a wide-legged forward fold. And it's for the same reason. It helps tilt my pelvis forward so that I can hinge from my hips and not from my back. So that elevation allows me to hinge from the hips and keep the spine long when I'm coming into a forward fold. Whereas if it was on the ground, I would be straining through my back a lot more. Another great way, if sitting like on your knees is comfortable, for a long period of time, it's really nice to bring that block, same spot under the sitting bones, just turned long ways, and sit up on the block like that. And it's the same thing, tilting the pelvis, helping everything stack, shoulders over hips, neutral spine, so you can stay comfortable for a lot longer. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is pigeon pose. This is another one where pigeon, almost no one can come into like a full pigeon. So pigeon's a really intense hip opener. And when we come into it, the goal, which most of us will probably never get there, but is to have both our hips come down to the floor. Now, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone have both hips come down to the floor. And so a great way to keep the hips level is to use a block. So if I'm coming into pigeon, you can see that I want to keep my hips level. So I want to keep my left hip and my right hip in the same line with the floor, parallel with the floor, and in line with each other. So the tendency will probably be to drop one way or the other. And that can be not very grounding, right? If we're trying to balance. So putting a block, and this is where you can have different sizes of blocks or a folded blanket or a bolster underneath that hip, now allows me to have both my hips grounded. So I've got this leg grounding my left hip, the block grounding my right hip, and now I can stay up or come into resting pigeon, and I can release through the hips instead of trying to hold them in that alignment. And you might find that when you go to the other side, it's totally different on the other side. So you might need a block on one side, not on the other, because we have a lot of imbalances. Please leave me a comment if you have questions or something you'd like to see in a future video. Yeah. Okay, take care.